Today is February 12th, and I've got my fourth row all buttoned up and attached, and they're still damp because from this morning I wetted them down again. So I'm waiting for them to do a good dry. Probably will start on it later today if they're dry enough, or tomorrow. And then this fourth row will be up. My only concern is that I had 8. I've been having 8 hides. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hides so far for the first 3 rows. Well, this fourth row, for some reason, either my hides for this batch were bigger, but I'm not for sure. I'm thinking that's what it is because I have one hide right there still left over that did not fit all the way down this. So I'm not for sure that this is going to be too straight of a blanket. I'm thinking it's going to be a little shorter than what it should be. But at the same time, I don't know. I would have quite a bit of this hide hanging off of here is what I'm trying to get at. If I had it on, say this side, you see what I'm saying? It would be totally off. So I just did not stick it on there, and I figured I'll just put it on the 5th row once we get it, this row done. So my plan is to do what I did the last time. I'm just going to sew the whole bottom together until I get to the end, and then I will sew the sides individually. So then that completes the 4th row. This should take me the rest of the week and into the weekend probably to finish this, depending on, our daily things that I have to do and just overall. But I'm pretty pleased with it, and I'm hoping that by the end of the month I will have possibly this, or at least by my husband and I's anniversary, which is the 19th of March, is a goal part that I'm hoping that we can use to say that that I've completed this. So I do have the rest of these hides here, and I think, and I got to remember too, like I took out 2 of the hides, so there's going to be less hides on here, I'm thinking. So this one's pretty beat up. I'm going to have to either sew that, or that's going to have to get cut off. I think that's the neck part, so that would probably be okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's a row. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we don't quite have enough unless I short these down to 7 to complete the next 2 rows of 7, and that would leave me 2 extra hides that I don't have to use yet on this blanket. But I'm going to see how this looks with these 7 on here. I mean, if that's the way I got to do it, then it is. And then my last part before I put the fluorescent backing that you have to put on these, I'm going to try to stretch this a little more. I'm going to wet it down, of course, and then stretch it and try to see if I can't get it to be more like square, I'm hoping. So with that being said, this is my update so far on the blanket, and I will keep you guys posted anyways when it comes to the rest of it, and we'll go on completing. So thank you guys, and we'll see what else I can get into for the rest of the day, and then kind of give you guys a little more update. So I decided to, instead of not doing really much, because I was thinking, well, what do I have to do today? And I was thinking, and I thought, well, I don't really have much to have to go on. So why not take the hides that I had downstairs and start fleshing them? So that's what I did for the first one. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I should just make this a video. So I actually got my first pelt done. And I used this. Now, this is my new one that I had gotten from Amazon. This is the first one. This one works really well, but it's kind of hard for me to hold, you know, and just do it. So I ended up getting this one. Now, there is a trick to this. I was trying to use it before, and I think I was using it on the wrong side. Now, there's a smooth side here that's just smooth, and then you have an edge on this side, which is, you could definitely feel it. It's a little bit of a sharp edge, kind of like the edge that's on this. So this was pretty simple. I mean, I just did a good probably 5 minutes or so of scraping, and I do got some little spots right here, but I think that's because I kind of went a little too far. But overall, this pelt feels very nice. It does need stretched and everything. It still needs solution on it. But I thought, you know what? This is what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to flesh all my hides and get these prepared to be put up. Because I need to be able to make more blankets, obviously. And we're not going to be able to butcher any more rabbits until at least another 8 weeks. I think that's what I figured out, because those babies should be around 8 weeks right now, or coming up on 8 weeks next week. So we have at least 8 weeks more till we have to be able to be looking at butchering them, because I like them to be at 15 or 16 weeks. The bigger they are, obviously, these guys were 15 weeks when I did them. This is not a 15-week old. This is a 1.5-year old rabbit. This was Bluebell, actually. And her pelt is beautiful. I noticed that her babies from last time, their pelts were nice and thick like her pelt is here. And I do have 2 blue daughters from her last litter that I did butcher most of the babies out of, but 2. And they have the same pelt. These ones, and it just depends, like, on the rabbit itself. Like, this was an older rabbit. This was an older rabbit. Because these were the rabbits that I thought were does, and they ended up being bucks. Compared to, say, this was actually a smaller rabbit from a different litter. But this is the same rabbit from that litter I just showed you, which is a bigger rabbit. And the pelts are pretty large. I mean, I really like the fact that we waited till 15 weeks. So my goal this next time around is actually to wait till they are 16 weeks, and I think that's where we're going to stay on it. We get more meat that way, and the pelts are bigger. And I don't have, even if I have to cut necks off and square everything up, I'm still looking at a larger pelt, and I think that's what I want. Because I want to be able to have less waste. Now, I'm keeping all the necks and the cutoffs and everything, because I'm thinking of using them for another blanket. Like, I could piece them together for sure. So let me quit talking. How I noticed that this seemed to work pretty well was taking the hide from the top, coming down to the bottom. This is the neck area and down to the butt area. So this rabbit, actually maybe I should go this way so I can make sure to have all the, can you get, yeah, you guys can still see me, okay. So I want to come up and around this up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start, and you got to apply quite a bit of pressure, but what I've noticed is that when you do it correctly, you get quite a bit of the flesh coming off. You just have to go in spurts. And what I've been trying to do, what I did on that white one, was I came all the way down the side. The side I noticed near the hairline is quite a bit harder to get off. She's pretty fatty. You get a workout, let me tell you. I don't want to take too much off because that's going to make for a thinner hide. Because on my blanket that I'm making now, I had a lot of areas where I took way too much of the flesh off. I should have left more of it on. So I'm going to be much carefuler this time around on doing the rest of my hides. I'm not going to be in such a hurry to try to get them done. Like, these hides have been sitting in salt for like, I don't know, a couple weeks. They were just sitting downstairs in a cool basement with a humidifier going, and the salt that I ended up taking off was already dry, which is amazing. I really like that, but it was worth just leaving them sit in the salt because it doesn't harm them. It helps take all that flesh off. And we're just going to keep going down the hide. This is a workout. I'm going to be probably sore by the end of the day because my goal is to get all 12 of these done. Yes, there's 12 here. She was the biggest, and the rest of them are about the same size besides that small little red one. But, see, I got this like fleshy stuff here that you got to be careful when pulling it off because you can go a little too far. And that's what I'm afraid of doing. So if this is grabbing it, I'm thinking that it's still safe to be able to pull it and not rip a hole in it. Or get it to where it's too thin of a hide. But we're going to just keep going. I think quite a bit of flesh right there. I can feel it. Like smushy. Quite a bit of flesh. So okay, so that was this half of this, and I can just see some little extra areas where there's some more stuff coming off, and what I'll try to do is pull it but not try to rip all of it off. I don't want to rip more than I should be ripping. Ouch. Oh, I pulled my finger. She is like really fatty. My cousin goes, "You're going to have fun fleshing that rabbit." Yeah. But in the end, it's all worth it. That's how I look at it. So I do know, looking at this, I got to come down a little further on the hide, not much. knocking my panel off here. I'm going to do the other side of this neck. Try to get that fleshed out. And then on the arm right here, around the arm. That's usually where it's the hardest to get around, is this arm, and then a lot of times you have fatty meats that are up on the corner here, which she does have a little bit. An older rabbit definitely is harder to butcher because they're more tougher and they're actually harder to flesh the older they get. I've done them at 6 months. I've done them at 4 months. I've done them at like 13 weeks was like that batch on the blanket. Those were like 13-week-old babies. Some were nice and big, some weren't. But I think 15 weeks is a good time, because that one that I fleshed was a 15-weeker and it fleshed pretty well. I was very impressed. So we're going to do 16 weeks and see how that is. And I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to end up with. Now, what I've been doing is just dumping this on the floor right now, because I have a pile already sitting. So that's what you're going to see me do. I already have a pile sitting there, and then I got to sweep all the way around this anyways, because even though I pulled the salt off, I still have a little bit of salt left on the hides. Now what I'm going to do is turn it around this hide, and I'm going to scrape the opposite direction to see if I can't get any more to come off. Sometimes if you scrape it the opposite direction, it helps peel what might be left off. And if you get stuff on this, it don't like to work very well. You gotta make sure it's cleaned off. Oh, that is on there pretty darn good. See if I can get it to come off. It's not wanting to just peel off. Here we go. Yeah, I think this pelt's almost done to the point where I'm getting further down on it where I don't want to be, because this should be peeling off pretty good, and it's not really wanting to come off. It's just areas of it that I can feel kind of like bristly hair. So you know you're getting close to the hairline of the hide. Just have to keep on. See, the hide feels a lot better now. It feels a lot lighter, a little more movable, more paper sounding. I've got this area over here. It's got some flesh, like where this kind of was pulled over, I guess. Didn't get a whole lot of salt in it, so it kind of rotted, I guess is what you'd say. It's got I don't have a nasty smell or anything, but it is like open flesh that was up against the salt that didn't quite get it all the way. See, and I took that down quite a ways. It's pretty thin right there now. So just do another really good back and forth just to see what else might come up. Can't always like say that it's right, but I think that she's pretty much done, because this I'm tearing off. I don't think should be coming off, because it's gonna make her hide a lot thinner. I'm just peeling off because it's sticking up, and I'm just trying to pull it so it's not just sitting here. I don't know, like I said, I think I'm just pulling a little too much off, but at the same time, We're just trying to do our best. So all I did was take these from being butchered and salted them, and then I just let them sit. My fingers are pretty greasy. Like I said, she was pretty fatty. This has actually got on this part of this where I could put my knees underneath of it, but then my stuff that I need is hanging out on the other side. So I think to myself, like, I don't want it like that. So I sit on this side so I have access to everything. Yeah, I'm pulling way too much, I think, off. There is like a lot here. Ooh. Ah, goodness sakes. I think that stretched it a little too, which is fine. She's got to get stretched. We'll see once I can let these back down and actually see what it is. But yeah, I think from what I can see that this is done for right now. I don't think I can do any more because all I'm doing is ripping way too much of the hide off. Like that's a good amount of stuff I just took off there. But a lot of this is going to get trimmed off anyways. But I still want it to be good and usable because, like I said, I'm going to try to use all my cutoffs for other projects. So I think this one is done. As you can see, for the most part, I've gotten all the flesh that I could possibly get off of it. She's actually pretty soft, to be honest. Like, that's pretty soft. So, I think I did pretty well. So there's number 2 done. Put it like that. And we'll do this one. And I'll just show you. It'll probably be the end of this video because I'm not going to have you guys just sitting here while I'm doing the rest of these 10. So, this is number 10 anyways. So again, start at the top, neck coming way down. And we're at the top here, top of the neck. That actually pulled quite a bit off. Right down. Like, that's a lot of flesh right there. And then it's got this nice fleshy part right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's what I'm peeling off. As long as it'll keep taking it. My thing is trying to, when I pull it, I tend to pull too much of the hide off. See, like that? That's the belly. And that's just coming right off. That's all you need, is just to be able to pull that off. You don't need to pull the rest of it off yet, because you got to stretch it. But this is already This is down to the leather because I can feel it. We'll see if I can get it to let me get into it here. There's some pretty fleshy stuff right there. So let me see if I can't get that out, because that's what's holding it. I've been waiting to see snows fly, but I'm not seeing anything yet. That storm is supposed to be here at 1 o'clock. And I do have to watch my time because I gotta take my eye drops at 2. Sometimes it's pretty easy if you could just, but pulling it like this, you're gonna end up ripping it. I already know from experience. These rabbit hides you gotta be very, very careful with, or you will rip them. And they're a pain in the butt to sew up the holes, let me tell you. Especially if you're using them for pelts, I'm saying. Like, yeah, that is pretty much right where it should be. That's the, I'm like pulling it. That's the arm. It ain't gonna go nowhere. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just keep going. Sometimes I need to sit because my back, sometimes it's a little too much for me to have to deal with my back. But it is what it is. I'm just feeling like when I was down there, I was feeling like where am I at on the hide and where is more flesh sitting at on it. I don't know why some of these are just so easy to start fleshing, but then you got different layers, obviously, because I pretty much took it down too far by pulling on it. I don't know what the ducks are doing clear over here for. about this one. 'Cause I feel like this hide's going all different directions, like pulling, being able to pull stuff all different directions. So it's definitely easier than what Miss Bluebell's was there, for sure. But then you have areas like, I don't know if it's the belly or the back. Scene. I think that was a cat walking back along a down tree right there. But I don't know which cat it was. Might be Dixie. She's always kept going around catching critters. Okay, I'm going to flip it the other direction. See what we get. Come back this way. Sometimes these hides right down here at the end of these get a little tricky. And I'm not saying that just to say it. I mean, they get a little tricky to actually take stuff off of them. I don't egg tan because I don't feel it's necessary for what I'm doing. It's just easier to salt. And then normally people would then, after they flesh it, then they'll put an egg yolk on it and let that soak in because that preserves it. And then you stretch it. I'm not doing that. Even though we got eggs, I'm still not using them for it. I have a tanning solution that my dad used. The trapper guy that I salted deer hides for, he used it. And it worked pretty darn well. And I've also got mink oil, which you can use too, which is natural. That helps waterproof it. But so does this other tanning solution I have. I seen that Heather from Sage and Steel Homestead. They're out of Kentucky. She uses the same solution on her hides, I should say. They butchered one of their goats, and she kept the hide for that. I've already bent that nail over from just pulling. And she's going to make maybe some gloves out of them, which I think goat skin gloves are amazing. They really are. They do a very good job. And I'm not going to say that I'm going to try to do it myself, because we would probably have to butcher our own goat to do it. And we're going to take them to the butcher to have them done. And the butcher doesn't necessarily keep hides like you'd want them to be kept. They cut them to pieces and whatnot. This right here is kind of where I've gotten before with my other hides, and then ended up ripping them because what I'm doing is actually stretching it too, but I'm pulling way too much of the Sounds like it's sleeting outside right now. We've already won? Yep. 101. Sounds like sleet. I don't see snow, but I can hear, or ice maybe, freezing rain, sleet, whatever you want to call it. We were told that we could get that. See right here, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up ripping a hole in it. So I really don't want to try to do that anymore. But then I'm going to have this flapper here. Because I had that on one of my other hides. That's on the blanket. Where it was kind of like, I shouldn't have took it down so far. But I did. I'd say, I mean, if it's going to snow, let it snow. We're still wintry. Spring isn't till next month anyways. And that nail, every time I do this, my nails get very brittle. I think it's from the salt still being on it. But, yeah. This one seems to be a little more movable. Got some of this right through here that's not, but that's because it's thicker. It's going to need to be stretched. Broke. That's the thing. I kind of like doing this because it kind of breaks them too. Kind of makes them break. So, but there's this hide. Really nice black, broken. We got some blood on it. I mean, there's nothing you can really do when it comes to that, but all these are going to have to be washed. And I've got the areas that you can see right here. I can't really pull down anymore because if I do, I'm going to end up ripping it. So what I'm probably going to do is cut that. Some over here. I don't know if I could technically, it's not really wanting to give me any more of this, and I'm afraid I'm going to rip it, but this one's done. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that maybe this kind of intrigues somebody to want to be able to create their own products out of their rabbit hides if you raise rabbits yourself. And I'm just going to keep going, keep doing these, and my goal is to get them all done. And then of course tomorrow I'll let you guys know in that video. And then we should have quite a bit of snow on the ground too, so we'll see. So I'm going to turn you guys around so you can see what it looks like. And then end this video. So just hold on a second. So there we go. My view of where I actually am sitting at. And as you can see, there's still snow on the ground. Not a whole lot, but there is. It's my view. Thank you guys again for being here, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. Until next time, God bless you all.